What is going on, FA Nation? Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook Live show. It is Friday. Got ourselves a 14.
No.
13. 12.
No, incorrect. You are very wrong. It's 12.
12, yeah. I was going to say, I thought it was 13, but then they moved up the Washington game.
Nope.
The White Sox game, rather.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I can take it from here. I got this.
Dude, AJ Smith-Shawver, torn UCL. Sorry for the ass man there. Tough day.
Did you see the clip the other day where he's like,
he got hit by a line drive and said he felt his elbow pop at the same time.
Yep.
Anyways, it's Friday. I'm already halfway out of this day. So we have a 12-game main slate to talk about here.
Nailed it.
Took me a little bit to get
okay.
I'm just paying attention. Got a bunch of trade offers flowing my way in our Roto League.
Nope, one specifically that you've ignored.
One from you.
Correct. It's a good trade. It's a good trade.
We'll see. We'll see if it is a good trade or not. I'll say what is good for today is some of the ownership on today's slate. Some pieces that we were looking at this morning. The chalky plays are the chalky plays for today. So we will get into it. We'll go position by position. We'll break it all down. We'll build the lineup. We appreciate all of you who tune in to the preview show and the live show each and every day. You can hit that like, that share, and subscribe button. If you're interested in a 7-day free trial, you can get the description of the show and click it in there as well. FantasyAlarm.com/win. Promo code Let's Go. You can sign up, get 7 days for free. Check out all of our MLB DFS content over there on Fantasy Alarm. Pitchers here. Max Fried, $10,300 is your top price guy. We talked about it on the preview show. When it came to ownership, we were curious what Fried's ownership would look like. No one's really playing him. 7% tonight in his matchup against the Dodgers. Your top price starting pitcher as of currently situated, Nick Pivetta against the Pirates, and Peterson versus the Rockies. Again, two guys we assumed would be up there, but Brian Wu also up there in ownership today. So talk to me about the top three guys. For, Pivetta, Wu, and Peterson for ownership today. Which of the three would you prefer to build your lineups around today?
Which of the three? Nick Pivetta is the easy cop-out answer there. Not that I don't think he's a great play, but that's just the easy answer. Pittsburgh is a dreadful offense, dreadful team, dreadful organization. Doesn't matter how many pitching prospects they get, they're dreadful, right?
Especially when they don't call those pitching prospects up.
Especially when those pitching prospects aren't used, and then speaking of used, UCL, one of them is blown. So, and they delay it like 2 months. So now he misses like half.
Just immediately gave him the surgery. Did not.
So that's the easiest option. Max Fried obviously is the best pitcher on tonight's slate, but he has a very tough matchup in a ballpark that is very conducive to home runs. I'm never against using Max Fried, but it just is not a play I think you need to go to. Like if this was if this is Tarek Skubal, it's different, right? Because Tarek Skubal is consistently getting you 10 strikeouts or approaching 10 strikeouts. Like that's not always Max Fried's top priority, So Pivetta is the answer amongst the top three. I think Wu is second. Good spot for him at his stomping grounds. Minnesota's lineup obviously got a little better today. Byron Buxton is off the IL, so the depth of their lineup is a little bit stronger. But yeah, Wu second, and then Fried's third amongst those three.
Going down next, I guess the next group here. Then where would you look to go? Is there like a core mid-tier guy for you today?
Yeah, I mean, I love Framber. The Tampa Bay lineup is hilarious to me because they're leading Caballero off, and he's like good against lefties, but like leading him off, right? They the Chandler Simpson send down was the most hilarious thing of the day. They called up Jake, or Magnum came off the IL. He is hitting third against Framber Valdez today. That is not a good thing for Tampa Bay. They are a dreadful offense against left-handed pitching. Like Danny Jansen is hitting 6th. The end of their lineup is Morel and Wall. I mean, it's just not a good. Like Tampa is very solid against righties. They are not built to hit left-handed pitching. Like avoid Junior Caminero, win yourself a prize tonight. So I really like Framber Valdez, who is in, as you alluded to, like in the midst of the strikeout, or was in the midst of the strikeout run. Are we on the downturn of the strikeout run? Maybe, maybe not. David Peterson is obviously a great play. He's been a great pitcher, and the strikeouts have been more elevated than they've been in years past for David Peterson as well. Nearly a strikeout per inning. That's not been his, calling card. And he has the worst team in the history of baseball opposing.
28% strikeout rate for the Rockies against left-handed pitching just in general this year. And we said on the preview show, you make that road matchups against left-handed pitching, and it's over 30% against left-handed pitching. So Peterson certainly in an elite spot. That's why he has, again, a top 3 ownership, the number 2 actually ownership on today's day. So I guess like the question is really like you have Pivetta, Peterson, and Wu all 30+%. And then it drops down. Actually, we just got an update on that literally as we were speaking here. Peterson is now your top, him and Pivetta. But an interesting name has just popped into 3rd place.
Yeah, it's really sad because it's not gonna catch anyone by storm anymore.
It was a guy that you and I were on. We'll hit it up in a second here.
In depth, by the way, we went in on that, and now suddenly everyone's
the same thing we did. So if you watch the preview show, probably know exactly who we're talking about. But we did have Chris Bassett's name brought up in the chat. Bassett, until that just update there, was like the 4th highest rostered pitcher. He's still getting 16% ownership. Bassett against the Athletics tonight. Mid-tier option for us. Is that something that you'd be looking at?
Well, number one, you cannot, and I mean you cannot overlook the fact that this is the biggest revenge narrative on the board.
Do we have someone mention a revenge game? Is that in the Discord?
No, me.
You have a revenge.
I am mentioning.
Okay, why?
Revenge narrative, because he used to pitch for the Athletics.
Sure.
Huge factor. Sure. I'm just kidding. I don't care at all. But
sometimes you get trolled by narratives in the Discord, so I wasn't sure if that's what...
No, I know. No one was talking. I'm not against the Bassett thing. Look, the A's have... The lefties are obviously what give Chris Bassett problems. Tyler Soderstrom hasn't had a hit in a month. I'm not sure he has one singular hit in the month.
Tyler Soderstrom, right? Half of his home runs came that opening weekend when he hit 4.
Yep. I am unsure when the last Tyler Soderstrom impact hit was, right? That's one of their lefties. Lawrence Butler has definitely been better, but has not been the version I think a lot of us thought he would be. So, like, they don't have the impact lefties because Chris Bassett is just like a dominant guy against righties. Like, he dominates right-handed pitching. 100 ISO allowed, 256 WOBA, 24% strikeout rate to righties this year, 13% swinging strike rate. There's like not a lot to love about the Athletics lineup. Like, yeah, they have some lefties at the end. Alexander has looked terrible offensively. Logan Davidson, whatever. And Avon's 29-year-old making his like 3rd start of the year. So like,
I don't disagree with you. I'm on board.
It's a good spot.
I'm on board with it. And we've talked, home road splits. Sacramento is one of the best offensive ballparks in baseball. You take the Athletics kind of out of that situation, and they're not anything too special. Away from their home ballpark this season. So Outside of Jacob Wilson, who just hits 340, and he's a righty.
Yep.
To your point, Bassett shutting them down. I'm kind of with you. And to Mark's point, Barrios, we saw 9 strikeouts out of Barrios, a guy that doesn't really strike anybody out anymore. I mean, certainly something to look at there. So you have Bassett in the mid range again, getting a little bit of the mid tier ownership. I like Liberatore. Again, someone that we've kind of highlighted the Rangers and their overall struggles, especially against left-handed pitching. They have the 3rd highest strikeout rate, 207 team batting average against left-handed pitching, 118 ISO, 264 WOBA. Liberatore doesn't have a huge strikeout rate, but you're now in a spot where he is in a ceiling strikeout matchup. And he's getting under 10%. I'm sorry, he's actually now getting 4% ownership. So you have him for $100 more expensive than Chris Bassett. Bassett's getting 3x the ownership. If you're in tournaments and you want to make a pivot, I think Liberatore makes some sense today.
Yeah, and he shuts down righties and he shuts down lefties. And we saw the Rangers made a little swap tonight. They're doing the Haggerty leadoff thing, and that's just not it's just not a thing. This guy was dropped by the Mariners, and now he's leading off for the Rangers. That's how desperate. Him and Leody Taveras just switched spots, and Leody's been pretty good for Seattle. Haggerty has been pretty subpar, and now they're I guess we have to lead you off because there's a lefty on the mound. We don't really have anything else. Nothing else is working. So, yeah, I think Liberatore is interesting. In tournaments, I completely agree on the pivot. I think Bassett probably is the better play, but also, if you're basically flip a coin, just play the lower owned guy, and that's obviously
Zebby is getting also a little bit of ownership love. Now we talked about just from a pure strikeout perspective, we see guys like Zebby Matthews, like Gavin Williams, things like that. And someone else we'll talk about here in a second, they get a little ownership steam because they just have the ability to miss bats, and on DraftKings especially, strikeouts kind of rule here. So are you concerned about this matchup against Seattle for Zebby Matthews? Do you think that we can actually get him to qualify for a win today? Pitch into the 5th inning.
Those might be two separate. Those are two definite separate answers. Sure. Because I'm interested because the strikeouts, but because the strikeouts, I'm not sure he'll get to the 5th inning. I think those two questions have been answered already. The pitcher is very solid. In DFS formats and non-fantasy formats that have specific categories that you need to qualify, 6th inning quality start. Those are Zebby looks great in DFS because he misses bats and he's 7,200. Zebby looks good in points leagues and because he can rack up strikeouts. Yeah, 7,200 in a great pitching environment, I think he looks pretty good. It's just I don't know if he can get to the 5th inning because what is the progression? Now, I guess if we had a crystal ball and the progression of pitches was 91.
Yeah.
Right? It's just doing simple math on screen. Then, yeah, I think possibly he gets through 5 innings. But, he also just throws a lot of pitches because he's looking for strikeouts. He does not have great control. And
he had really good control at the minor league level in terms of, what his whip and walk rates were. This year specifically, at the major league level, he hasn't. And though the walks cut down to 1, as you can see, it took him 81 pitches to get through 4 innings. So he's just throwing a lot of pitches there. So I'm curious on the ownership because, again, the strikeouts at 9 against the Royals, a team that has an 18% strikeout rate. Hard to ignore sort of that kind of success here. Seattle obviously has some thumpers too that can do some damage if he throws a ball down the middle of the plate. So you have that. And then we can just get to our guy, Luis Ortiz down at 6K. I have to scroll through all these guys who aren't playing. A little bit of a disappointing update there, right? Because for most of the day, he wasn't nearly as popular as he is now.
No, he wasn't.
We again did a pretty in-depth sort of breakdown on him last night in the matchup here against the Angels. And we were in, and now it seems like everybody else is also now in on Luis Ortiz. He is your third highest rostered pitcher of the slate, up over 20% now. Again, that probably will update as we get closer to roster lock. Maybe he jumps down a little bit, but we liked Luis Ortiz a lot. He was in the example lineup that we put in the Discord today. I haven't changed my opinion just because he's more owned now. But what is your take now that he's getting this ownership?
Well, we have to look out. Scott Kingery's in the lineup tonight, John. So there's obviously a big concern. No, my opinion hasn't changed. We were talking about this last night and how poorly he's pitched against left-handed bats versus right-handed bats. And there are a few underlying things that are a little bit concerning to righties. He has a 184 expected ISO to righties. It's a sub 100 actual ISO. So there's obviously been some batted ball luck on Luis Ortiz's side. But the numbers are bad and worse when you talk about regular and expected numbers versus lefties. The lefties tonight in the Angels lineup are Nolan Shanuel. He's hitting second. And Luis Rengifo, and he's hitting ninth. And Rengifo hasn't hit a right-handed pitcher probably his whole career. And Shanuel has the lowest bat speed in baseball. And he's a fine player, but we're not avoiding pitchers because Nolan Shanuel, right? Like that's not
that guy has zero exit velocity.
Yeah. So like you look at Ortiz striking out 25% of lefties, also striking out 25% of righties, and there's 7 of them tonight for the Angels. It's a good spot for strikeouts, and that's you said it when we were just touching on Zebby, right? Like strikeouts are king on DraftKings. Ortiz is a good DraftKings play because he has a very high strikeout.
Yeah, and this is a guy that was just $7,000. Now he's down to $6,000. So you're even getting like a little bit of obviously a discount on the price. Again, his expected numbers aren't great. We want to at least highlight, some of those things there. But he does have a really good ability to miss bats. The home runs, last year against lefties, it was where we're kind of targeting him. It still is, let's say it was like 1.6 or something like that now, but not as bad as it was for a period of time when he was on the Pirates. So you have that play there. Any other pitchers that you're looking at specifically for this one?
Any other pitchers? No. I mean, the top 5: Liberatore, Bassett. No, I think
we'll go on over to the hitters here then. Catcher position. Top price guys: Ivan Herrera. You have Kyle Rowley, Will Smith, Austin Wells is your top 4. We kind of looked at this morning. We are in the preview show. We didn't really look to spend up at the catcher spot. We obviously found other positions where we were looking to spend, but now our value plays that we liked aren't on the slate. So does that?
Well, one of them,
sure.
He had 4 hits yesterday.
Where do you feel like you want to go with catcher today?
I mean, Alejandro Kirk, I think he's super popular, and it's kind of criminal, but like he is a good hitter for a $3,200 4 hitter, right? Like he's hitting 4th tonight. So I do like the price and
3x ownership any other catcher today. So
yeah. So, and I think there's obviously pivots. Yanier Diaz has awoken, hit a ball that might still be leaving Houston last night. Pepiot has not been good against righties. I do have a couple guys I'd be a little interested in spending up on. One is Austin Wells, and specifically because Gonsolin has been really, really bad against left-handed bats this year. 176 ISO allowed, 253 ISO to lefties. 386 WOBA, 396 expected WOBA, 13% strikeout rate for Gonsolin. I love the Yankees lefties, so I would play Wells at 45. I would also play Augustin Ramirez if you're targeting Kyle Harrison. Those would probably be the two guys up over 4,000. And then, like the Salvi, Diaz, Kirk range in the 3K tier, and then like Higashioka, Patrick Bailey would be the two spend downs I'd play.
First base then. Again, a position where we have a lot of games and a lot of top tier. We put Alonso in the cores of the example lineup. He's got Kyle Freeland. Anything changing for you on your top targets here?
No, the Freeland numbers were better than like kind of how we expected them to be. We kind of had talked about that last night.
He's kind of spinning it a little better when he's on the road,
He is. I would say, and we've had a bunch of comments. I think every person that has commented has said the word Braves. And I do think that there's a lot of merit to getting to the Braves. So, Matt Olson, who's been pretty good lately. Lucas Giolito this year against lefties. 204 ISO allowed, 310 expected ISO, 341 WOBA, 392 expected WOBA. And obviously Lucas Giolito pre-Tommy John was a guy who can miss bats. And whether you hate him or not, because you hate him and probably the rest of the world like split.
Every other start has been good this year. If you could find some consistency, maybe I'll change my mind,
Yeah. I would say 21% strikeout rate is pretty concerning for a guy who's always been able to miss bats. So I really like Matt Olson. I really like the Braves. Well over 5 implied runs tonight too. Olson looks just, you've said it all along, like just having Acuna in the lineup, just having him there has given them depth. But Matt Olson against righties this year, which it's not like a surprise to me, but like 225 ISO, 284 expected ISO, 349 WOBA, 383 elite expected stuff. And this is a guy who has hit 50 home runs, right? Like Matt Olson is like a really powerful player to the point where they were okay letting Freddie Freeman just go. Like they were willing to be like, no, we're not paying you. We have this guy in a trade coming over. So
they might have paid him if the agent actually told Freddie Freeman that the Braves made an offer.
Well, you raised a fair point, but
the agent was like, we're gonna go to LA. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't. So they didn't, and here we are with Matt Olson.
Yeah, I agree with you. Howard Bender put out his underdog picks for today. He had Matt Olson over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs as well for his underdog plays. So he's riding that. Again, the raves in the chat, a lot of people liking that. I like the Olson call as well, just because I'm kind of an anti Giolito play anyways. So I'm good going that. We do have a lot of questions about the weather. Again, like just kind of going off the Roth report. It doesn't seem like anything is in like crazy danger, just sort of like spotty showers or rain kind of moving in and out the East Coast here. So I don't think he at least isn't forecasting any sort of postpone issues on some of these games. So probably okay in the Atlanta Boston game. We were talking Arizona against Irvin last night as well. We have Naylor at $4,500. Wilmer Flores, you talked righty numbers against Cal Quantrill last night. Very bad. Though I think the last time we tried to target Cal Quantrill, he threw like a 6-inning shutout against us.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
But I think Wilmer certainly currently your second highest projected first baseman today. So people are kind of catching on there. That's where it's at. But Vladdy is actually your highest rostered first baseman today. Are you just all in on Toronto versus Springs here?
We kind of thought that last night. Like they're just going to play. They just watched Toronto hit lefties everywhere last night for 12 runs. Like they're just going to play Toronto again. I would say the Vladdy numbers against lefties look great. Jeffrey Springs is a better pitcher than Jacob Lopez. That's obvious, right? Like that's
yeah.
I mean,
that was obvious really quickly for John when
it's
Ernie
not
Clement hit a 3-run home
bold
run.
it's not a bold statement I'm
I did type
making.
YOLO when I said I was playing him, and we YOLO'd real quick. So
yeah, yes. In the year 2025, the words YOLO were used. Vladdy against lefties this year, 262 ISO, 378 expected ISO, 426 WOBA, 501 expected WOBA, like 94 mile per hour exit velocity for Vladdy.
it's almost as if Vlad Guerrero Jr. is like a good baseball.
He's really good. Yeah. He's going to have 35 home runs and 100 RBIs by year's end, and you're going to be like, right, got it, $500 million, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I have no issues going there, but you do have to just understand, like, this is not yesterday. Jacob Lopez has spent years in the minor leagues. Month in between outings, right? They built him up to be a starter. He looked good against Philly. Did not look good. Yeah, I mean, all last strikeouts.
It made Philly's Achilles heels now lefty. Chris Sale shut them down last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I am good with Blue Jays. I'm also fully aware that these two players are not the same.
And so far, we've gone Kirk and Vladdy as the top two rostered positional players at catcher and first base. So.
Yes, yeah, and Earn Dog's probably up there, brother. So we're
I wouldn't doubt that. All right, going ourselves down a little bit further here. Burleson's 38. Christian Walker back in the lineup, hitting cleanup tonight, $3,800. Where else do you think you want to go here?
I mean, Wagaman hitting third is obviously interesting. Miami is not terrible against left-handed pitching. Wagaman has some really good expected stuff against righties. I don't hate the Walker shout. I wouldn't, if you're not playing Ortiz, I wouldn't mind one-offing Shanuel. He's not 4,500. A couple doubles for Shanuel and you're crushing his price. Sure. So I don't hate that. Josh Bell has looked really good in this series. I don't hate Josh Bell for cheap. I don't hate Colt Keith for cheap. That's probably it.
Abraham Toro's hitting 6th for the Red Sox tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. It's actually not the Grant Holmes stuff. It's not what Grant Holmes has allowed a 150 ISO to lefties, 171 expected ISO to lefties. So it's not a bad spot for Abraham Toro. And despite how bad Boston's been, they are still top 10 in every major category against righties. And obviously that mostly included Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman was
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, MVP candidate, Alex Bregman, right? And you're obviously seeing the effects afterwards. But they're 5th in OPS, 6th in ISO and WOBA, 9th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. So I don't hate the Toro play, but I'm not one-offing Toro. I am. No,
he's part of. He helped you get Devers and Duran and things like that. All right, second base then, up at the top here. When it comes to ownership at second base, I would tell you if my computer would let.
Earn Dog. It's Clement.
Is it Clement?
Yeah, it's Clement.
There you go. All right. Well, looks like Ketel Marte is in the lineup tonight. So we have Marte at 54 up at the very top.
Did we just get a Diamondbacks? We just got a Diamondbacks lineup?
Just got the Diamondbacks lineup.
Did you stop at Marte?
What?
Did you look past Marte?
I only got, the all right, something crazy going on here. We got Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, Naylor, Suarez, Gurriel, Smith, Moreno, and Thomas.
Geraldo's hitting third.
Geraldo's hitting third, yeah. Just throw another dude. Let's lefty, 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 lefty. 4 lefties to start the game for the Diamondbacks.
2025 All-Star Geraldo Perdomo hitting third.
I tell you about Jake Irvin. They looked at the Fangraphs page too. It's like, hey, this guy against lefties, not good.
I just that's a little surprise. I don't know. That's surprising to me.
Sure. I mean, I would probably classify the top two guys more of a 3-hitter than Perdomo,
Yes.
but
That's what I'm saying. Like, probably would work better if you just like flip him and Marte, right?
if
Like,
they're
just
all just going to hit from the left side anyways, does it matter? Like,
no, it doesn't. I don't know. They're doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I just Geraldo Perdomo hitting third.
Sure.
Not a usual thing.
So your top guys are Albies actually. The latest update, I don't know if you refresh, but Albies is actually now your highest roster guy. Then Marte, Donovan, and Fitzgerald are actually your top 4. Clement is 5th.
Huh. I still see Ernie as 1.
Okay. I'll refresh and maybe we have a different thing here.
I see those 5.
Okay.
But I just
refreshed again. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Clement's 1, Donovan, Albies, and Marte and Fitzgerald. So top 5 still the same. Now they're just reordered. So okay, Clement top there at 13%.
Howard, I thought he was hitting second, like while Marte was taking a lot of dumps the last couple days with this illness. But 2023 and future 2025 All-Star Geraldo Perdomo deserves all the praise because we are a no slander Geraldo Perdomo program here.
Good player, paid him.
All-Star.
Sent down they're like, we don't need you.
Can never take away his 2023 All-Star appearance, and you'll never take away his 2025 one either.
Can't do it. All right. Well, then where do you prefer to spend down with Clement, or where are we going with second?
Well, I guess here's the question. Albies has looked way better of late. They've moved him up to second. Giolito documented struggles against lefties. But like for as long as Ozzy Albies has existed in the world, he's hit way better from the right side. What gives? Like, is it recent form Ozzy Albies? Because like it's not like the numbers this year bear out. Now he's hit all 6 of his home runs off right-handed pitching this year, for what that's worth. But 142 ISO, less than stellar. 315 WOBA, less than stellar. Really a lot of batted ball, bad luck. 252 BABIP, that kind of sucks. But like 86 mile per hour exit velocity against right. Like, do we like Albies there? Because I think he fits perfectly in a Brave stack. He's a really good price. He's in an elite lineup position. Yeah. He's hitting from the split that we want against Lucas Giolito. But like, this is not historically the best split for Ozzy Albies.
You get Ronald Acuna back in the lineup, and everybody starts to fall in line.
It's only 18 plate appearances, and I have to ask you what I'm looking. Actually, I'll save it for the outfield.
All right. Okay.
For Ronald.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
So you have Albies, obviously. Again, Ketel Marte is up there. We talked the value, but what do you make of the Fitzgerald ownership here?
People just absolutely jamming San Francisco in.
Jamming righties.
I mean, this is the exact player last year, right? Like, was like really good for a stretch and then just couldn't hit. And he's doing it again.
Really good, almost an understatement. He had like 7 games in a row at a home
run. The home run stretch was insane. But he did that like similarly this year to like a lesser extent. But then he has never been able to hit. It's like he's had like 2 Jeremy Lin runs, and then he's been Jeremy Lin outside of those runs, right? Like where it's like the best player in the sport, and then he doesn't bring a bat to the plate. So I don't know. If you're stacking San Francisco, I think it's fine. He probably has enough standalone value because he is like somewhat power speed guy. It's fine. I think there's some interesting value at second if you don't want to go there. Marcelo Mayer, obviously, 3,100 is interesting.
Sure.
Angel Martinez, 3,100 rather, has looked pretty good hitting second. Problem is Soriano just doesn't allow home runs. And I wanted Earn Dog, obviously. And then I was incredibly intrigued by this.
Sure.
And I just wanted to get your take. Because Thairo Estrada is making his debut tonight for the Rockies, John.
Yeah.
Min salary 2K hitting 4th. Really good player 2 years ago. Last year was the worst player ever in the history of the game.
He cost me the FSGA.
Yeah.
Remember, I ran out of shortstop or second baseman, whatever it was.
Yeah, where
he got demoted.
Yep.
And I ended up coming in second by like a few points because I had nobody usable left. Has some power, has some speed, plays for the Rockies, right?
If you're just punting, you're probably just playing Ernie Clement anyway.
Yeah.
If you're punting.
Probably.
Min salary 4-hitter.
I mean, dude, the fact that they just jammed him in he is not a 4-hitter.
No, of course not.
But sure. Yes.
Just saying,
I'm playing Peterson, so I won't be, but sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Some low power, low speed. Maybe he gets a hit, steals a bag, and he's 2K. So that's fine. Third base up at the very top here: Ramirez, Devers, Machado, Polanco, Eugenio, whole group of guys here in the 4K and up range. Thoughts, preferences? What do you got for me?
I like Ramirez. I don't know what the ceiling on Jose Ramirez is, and that just goes for Cleveland in general. Just because Soriano's allowed 3 home runs this year. And now 2 of them came against the Guardians, for what that's worth. I don't care for what it's worth, but just throwing it out there. Devers has not stopped hitting. He is very good at hitting. Great DH. So if you want to play Rafael Devers 51, it's a good spot. It's warm.
Do you like the ownership again on just jamming Matt Chapman?
I don't.
16%,
I don't. I mean, there's a lot of really good teams for all the ownership to be on the Giants and the Blue Jays. Right? I don't feel the need to play those 2 teams. The Giants are obviously really cheap. We talked about that in the outfield last night. We were talking about Ramos and Jung-Hoo Lee. They're really easy to get to. So I get it. And same thing with the Blue Jays, largely outside of Vladdy they're really expensive or really cheap. And Vladdy's not, for Vladdy, he's not expensive at all. I love, you can always get up to Ramirez, Devers, Machado, although Machado's been better against lefties this year. Polanco looks lost. Eugenio, Jake Irvin, actually, you were alluding to the Jake Irvin struggles against lefties.
Yeah.
A lot of indicators that he's also bad against righties and has just been really lucky against righties. 170 expected ISO to righties. So you talk about power, Suarez, right-handed power. That's what Eugenio is. So 4,800 for Suarez. I like Paredes when he's facing righties. That's what Ryan Pepio is. Love Austin Riley in a Brave stack. He had a really good day yesterday. Kind of been where's the power? Well, power yesterday, a couple of extra base hits, including a home run. Wilmer, Chapman are obviously getting ownership. And then I think there's some pretty good value below too.
Sure. Yeah, Norby and Young versus lefties here. Norby hitting 6, Young hitting cleanup tonight. Value, Vientos getting a lot of ownership at $3,200. You can play Mayer here as well. Anything else for value for you?
No, Vientos hitting second against a lefty. It's, it's a really solid price point.
Sure. Shortstop. Again, a position where you can spend up if you want to. We highlighted Lindor as probably an option for us in our core plays. If you're not playing Clement with a dual position eligibility, Lindor is getting the highest ownership.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Lindor's matchup versus Vreeland and sort of the rest of this top shortstop group?
Definitely not facing off against Justin Vreeland, but salute to Justin Vreeland. Fantasy Land great.
I said Vreeland.
You saw the Mets and you said Vreeland. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
shout out to Vreeland. Hope you're doing well. I think Lindor, speaking of Vreeland, I think Lindor is probably the best. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you got to get your ears checked, man. I guess that's fine.
Listen, I Q-tip more than the average individual.
Not supposed to.
Huh? I know. My wife yells at me all the time. I just, it is what it is. Look, Lindor has been historically great against lefties. Like I said, Freeland has better numbers. They're still bad. Like 175 expected ISO, 389 WOBA, 353 expected WOBA, doesn't miss bats. So I do think Lindor is like the creme de la creme at the position. I think Witt is actually kind of sneaky. Like Casey Mize. Let me rephrase that. Bobby Witt's never sneaky, but Casey Mize has also struggled against righty power. So I don't hate playing Bobby Witt, even though I say that he doesn't really have power this year. Just 5 home runs.
I mean, we know he will.
He will. So I'd be okay with going to Witt. Mookie, no. You could play Seager lefty, but Liberatore's been really good. 2023 All-Star Geraldo Perdomo hitting third. The price is just a little.
Yeah, it's hard to pay $5K for him if you're also playing Marte and Carroll, right?
Agreed.
He's probably the one that gets left out there. I still don't mind Wilson just because, again, he's hitting 350 on the year.
Yep,
so
he's good.
Can certainly do that one there. Lopez is hitting cleanup today.
Dude, they made the announcement yesterday. They're like, you're playing shortstop moving forward. Yeah. You're our shortstop. Bo has been really good. Homers in back-to-back games. Caballero leading off. Willie Adames in the great split advantage. And like what he also does, right? Like he only hits right. I mean, no, he hasn't hit anybody, but he does.
I said we got to wait till August when he's back in Milwaukee. Right?
He has, true. Yeah. Welcome home, Willie. He has hit righties. Can the Man brought up the Kingery thing that I was joking about earlier about Kingery making the lineup. He is in the lineup, not actually playing him, but it is funny that he's salute to Scott Kingery for being in baseball again.
Otherwise, again, Clement, you mean if you want to really double spend down, you can play Clement here and play Estrada at second, and there's your two 2K guys there.
And then you have the world is your oyster with whatever you want to do for the rest of your builds.
Yeah. Outfield, Aaron Judge, Ohtani, Acuna, Carroll, all up over $6,000. We're good playing all of them there.
Yep.
You said you wanted to dive into the Acuna numbers. What were they?
I just wanted to. What do you think Ronald Acuna's exit velocity is against righties so far this year? If you had to guess like a number.
104.
102. But like that is just, I know it's a small sample, but like that's crazy.
Yeah.
An average exit velocity of 102?
He hits the ball hard. We knew that.
Right? That's not human though. That's like not a human number.
I mean, it is a small sample size, but
I know. I'm not saying like
this was the guy that had like a 40-60 year or whatever it was.
Aaron Judge has a 95 exit velocity against righties, right? Like that's for what it's worth. Like,
yeah,
which is also criminally high, but like just for context.
Sure. $6,200 for Ronald Acuna there. Perfectly good in the lineup builds. Again, it's a large slate, so there's just a billion outfielders to pick from. Is there a core group 5K and up that you'd be looking to build around?
No, all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're all your highest roster guys are the Giants. It's Ramos and Yastrzemski at 16 and 14%. Springer, Aaron Judge is your highest spend up roster play. He and Carroll kind of just in the same range of ownership. Lee, more Giants outfielders. Acuna, as we mentioned, Ozuna is right there. So it seems like from an ownership perspective, you're playing Braves, you're playing Giants, you're playing Red Sox. Actually, it looks like as well. So, any hot takes there?
Yeah, I'd just add that Jimothy Wood is probably one of the better GPP plays of that tier. Not that Merrill Kelly's bad because he's good.
Yeah,
but I think James Wood is better.
And even the reverse splits for Kelly. This is the wrong. This is the bad. The good split for Kelly. He's good against lefties. So
yeah, James Wood is just in one of those like God. He's in God mode right now. Yeah. Like power, speed, whatever you want. James Wood's.
Yep, I would agree with you there. Are you surprised the Padres aren't really getting any love? I mean, what's a Mitch Keller?
No, the numbers are pretty good for Mitch Keller, which I found a little surprising today. So righties, John,
Yeah.
against Mitch Keller this year. This is where I was like, ooh, 054 ISO, 101 expected ISO. So like pretty good to limiting power. 243 WOBA, 264 expected WOBA. He's also struck out righties at a 26% rate. The lefties have had more success. So like if you wanted to play Merrill and Gavin Sheets and like Cronenworth, like that's fine. 163 ISO, 174 ISO, 363 WOBA, 381 WOBA or expected WOBA. But like the Padres, when you talk about ISO, they're 24th this year in ISO against right-handed pitching. Like they're just not. They got off to that good start because their pitching was so good, and like Tatis was homering and Jackson Merrill was great, but like they're not homering.
Sure.
And if you're spending the price points for them, you need them to homer, right? I'm not saying Tatis won't, because he's done serious damage against righties.
Season, like him, Merrill, and Machado will all have like 30 homers.
Yeah, yeah, like, but it's like they're not right. Like 24th in ISO against righties is obviously a concern.
Sure.
And when two of your three best players are from the right side and are 5K and up, and going up against this pitcher who has specifically been good in this split, like against righties, when you're talking about Machado and Tatis, that's a little bit concerning. So, like, could I see them explode? Yes. Do we think much of Mitch Keller? No. Has he pitched well lately? Yeah, we kind of talked about that last night, that we didn't believe it, but there also are some indicators that he is just good against righty bats specifically.
Okay. Rest of this mid-tier then. Anything stand out to you, whether it's ownership or matchups?
Yeah, Bellinger 5K, so like cusp. Lefties against Tony Gonsolin are the sweet spot. I had, where are my numbers here? It's 176 ISO, 253 expected ISO. Gonsolin actually has, and this was kind of surprising. I know it's a small sample. Tony Gonsolin has a 43% strikeout rate to righties this year. He has a 13% strikeout to lefties. So he cannot strike lefties out. But 253 expected ISO, 396 expected WOBA. So I like the Bellinger play to that extent. Dominguez, Grisham, like all the Yankees lefty outfielders. Lars Nootbaar, $4,800, has kind of dropped off a cliff a little bit. From like
where lighter, right? We went into the lighter numbers last night, and he just walks a lot of guys.
Yeah, but there's underlying stuff that says he's bad against lefties. Sure. 245 expected ISO, 382 expected WOBA, and you're right. Like but that doesn't hurt. Like if someone's walked in front of Nootbaar and he hits a 2-run home run in front of them, or he's walked a little speed, like 4,800 is a little expensive, but Cardinals are like a really good offense against righties this year.
Yeah.
So I think
it was just that lighter is allowing like an under 300 WOBA to both lefties and righties.
Yes. Right? Yes. The expected,
he walks them.
Yeah. And the expected stuff obviously looks better, but to your point, like because he's walking people, like you don't get a full scope of everything.
Young pitcher, right? They run.
Yeah. Young pitcher. Willier hitting third, Springer hitting third. The Giants are all cheap. Ozuna, dude, 4,200 hitting third.
Yeah. Again, it makes sense why the Braves are so popular. You can really get to a lot of them today.
All of them, right? I mean, who's Acuna? Acuna is like your only like
62, and everything else is under 5K.
Yep.
Let's see. Obviously, you have Ward with some potential power versus Ortiz. Soderstrom, if he is a lefty.
Yep.
Not hitting anything. Yaz is leading off. Gavin Sheets is mentioned 39. Victor Scott's hitting 9th.
Burleson. We didn't talk Burleson at first or like really dive into
it. Give him a quick, brief mention.
Another lefty. I would play lefties here.
Yeah, Donovan was actually getting ownership at one of at the outfield position. So and second, I guess so.
Yeah, the eligibility for sure is a big. And he's really good, but the eligibility definitely helps.
We had a question on Myers versus Harrison in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I like him getting off the IL. He was really good pre-IL. Dude, just doing everything, like a lot of everything. Like was hitting for power, was running every time he was on base, and he's hitting in a primo lineup position.
Yeah. Power's there.
And speed, and a lot of speed.
Anything else? Excuse me. Anything else for you down here? Cam Smith hitting 6 tonight on the way up.
Dude, Cam Smith, righties look good. He also has had a really good month.
Everything last night was like 105 or hard.
everything was hit hard. That's probably it. I mean, like there's a bunch of like Ken punt outfielders. I'm not in love with the Ken punt outfield today. Like you don't need to go below like Cam Smith, Starling Marte range.
Denzel Clark and Drew Avens.
Yeah, Avens is like a 29-year-old guy. Clark. I was actually watching the Blue Jays broadcast. They said Clark is from Toronto. So all those narrative. He hasn't hit in a week. Like he got called up and he hasn't had a hit. So he's really good in the field. He's just not great offensively.
All righty. So building a lineup. I'm just gonna plug in our boy because not Cam Smith there.
Yeah.
Ernie, do we want him at second or short? That'd be second, right?
Second, yeah, it's an easy plug for second base.
Comment.
Like just having those two players will probably allow us to do mostly what we want.
What is mostly? Are we going Atlanta now? Or are we?
Yeah, dude. I think Atlanta looks pretty good, but we're just doing a core, right? And then you could find find the rest of the lineup in the Discord.
Sure. So we do Olsen, Clement, Smith,
Peterson. Yeah.
And then give us one more. Give us one more piece of the core.
Ronald McDonald.
I don't know what that is.
Ronald Acuna.
There we go. I was like, what are we
Sorry.
I don't know what we're doing. All right. Peterson, Olsen, Clement, Smith, and Acuna as the core. If you guys are just tuning in and wondering what happened, well, we had a show earlier this week taken down by YouTube. Had some commenters suggest that maybe it was because we were building a full lineup. I do know that example lineups are frowned upon. We've had those comments previously from operators specifically to us. So we are now posting the lineups in our Discord, which you can join for free by clicking the link in the description of the show over on YouTube, or you go to fantasystorm.com. You can find the Discord link there as well. In your profile, my profile, you can hit the Discord link and join. We'll send a screenshot of the completed example lineup in there, but we're doing our best to not get pulled down, because if we get another show pulled down within the next 90 days, we can't post for a week, and we don't want to do that for you. We want to keep going live for everybody. So this is our core. Go to the Discord to get the rest of the lineup. We appreciate you all tuning in here, and we'll be back for